Ladies and gentlemen, maybe you thought we weren't going to go live tonight. Maybe you thought we were going to have a rain check. Maybe you even thought that James Taylor wasn't coming back to Sportswire Radio. I don't know. Maybe I don't know why that's out there, but you know what? Forget about all that because actually we're here to talk about the fallout from WrestleMania Night One. But James Taylor, I think you want to hear me too. But obviously, it looks like somebody's here in the background. But it looks like I think for whatever reason, I'm being echoing here. I'm not sure why that's the case, but, oh, there we go. I think somebody's playing the show in the background, but you know what? Maybe somebody was so excited to have James Taylor on Sportswire Radio that they wanted to hear him twice, maybe my voice twice. But you know what? Forget about all that. Forget about all the technical difficulties. Forget about the fallout from night one WrestleMania. We'll get you ready for night two. Are you looking forward to it? Were you disappointed? Maybe there'll even be some guests tonight on Sportswire Radio. Yes, that's right. Maybe some guests. Maybe James Taylor is going to comment on a number of different things. Hopefully, he's in a good mood. Plus, I actually have an announcement for James Taylor. And no, it has nothing to do with actually his in-ring return. It's actually something to celebrate him on, which I hope that you and everybody else that's watching and listening to this will join me in celebrating him for. But ladies and gentlemen, it is always my pleasure to have on the 2023 Personality of the Year on Sportswire Radio. He was our first member of our fifth class. He famously was inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame right after the Super Bowl. And how about the irony, ladies and gentlemen? He was here right after the Super Bowl, and he's here right after night one of WrestleMania. He is also the host of the Nemesis Sessions. He's a big deal on YouTube with 40,500 subscribers. He's on TikTok with nearly 75,000 subscribers. He's got videos out there with 1 million, 2 million, 3 million views, and he might even have a video upcoming with 4 million, 5 million, 6 million, and maybe soon we'll even talk about him in other Hall of Fames. But I'm very proud to have him in this one. I'm always happy to have him on because, in a way, even though Omen Black does say Sportswire Radio is his show, maybe in a way, ladies and gentlemen, James Taylor is the one that helped build Sportswire Radio on YouTube. And maybe we should be saying for James Taylor, it's the house that James Taylor built in Sportswire Radio lore. So we'll get to all of that here. I know everybody's been waiting. He needs to get that introduction that he always gets here over the past year. I want to give it to him. The world wants to hear it, whether they want to admit it or not. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right to it because we're more than 25 minutes behind schedule. So let's give him that introduction. Yes, it's all my fault. So let's give him that introduction that he deserves and the world needs to hear. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sportswire, number one global sports show, the first member of the fifth class in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, the host of the Nemesis Sessions, the man with nearly 115,000 followers on YouTube and TikTok. Simply put, his name is the Nemesis, James Taylor. Welcome home. Long time no speak. Just when we thought that you couldn't come back to Sportswire Radio anymore, you're back.
I am back. Are we getting feedback or am I all right?
No, we're great. It was actually on my end, actually.
Okay.
You know what the problem was, actually? We shared our interview on the PWF YouTube page, and I forgot to put it on silent. So, yeah, that was, blame me on that one. But I was trying to actually drum up some more attention. But that's here nor there. And I want to say hello to C Money, and I will put your shirt on in a different time, but I've got my James Taylor shirt on first because James Taylor's here. But I do have a lot of comments. We have a guest to come on here in a few minutes, and I promise you it won't be Craven Rage. I promise you it won't be Silver Wolf, but maybe it'll be a different place for a different time. But James Taylor, first of all, how the heck are you?
I'm doing really, really good, Tom. Glad you asked. So you're the owner now, or one of the owners of Pride Wrestling Federation. Is that correct?
Yes, I am actually, as a
You
matter
know,
of fact.
congratulations on that. I think that's awesome. And then I hear that you have business partners, Omen Black and Soldier GP. But you know
Yeah,
what? Hey,
apparently so. Apparently so.
but
Yes.
that still leaves about 50% of it out there for the grabs. Is that right?
As far as we know, yes, there is a portion out there that is
Well,
still up for grabs. We don't know what's going on with that. I
I've
mean,
been in talks with Dalton Skull. Don't know anything on the horizon just yet, but you know what? Anything can happen. Never say never. We could possibly be future business partners. What do you think of
I
that?
would love that, by the way. And I want to put it out there that I know Mr. Black and Mr. GP had some rather nemesis like words about you in a nemesis like way. But I want to put it out there that I would hope if you do become obviously a portion in control from your hands of this company, or if you don't. I would love to see it on PWF, and at the very least, we're going to watch some of your matches on PWF on Sportswire because, well, since I do own a portion of it, that allows me to actually, as you kind of still have control of the YouTube channel, which actually means that we can actually watch some matches at the very least. So I don't know what's going to happen with your future. I obviously just want to put it out there that, whatever you want to decide is going to be A-okay with me.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll all work out in the end. I've only had actually two official signed matches for PWF, but I had
And
an
we watched one of them,
appearance.
by the way, on the air, by the way.
I had an appearance at the end of season 2 after the match between Jay Wild and Jack Delta. If you
Yes.
watch the end of that match, you'll see what I was basically the last one in that little battle. But not the point. Nonetheless, I was a polarizing figure, I guess you could say, you know. But I've been doing all right, Tom. I've been
Not
doing
on
all
this
right.
platform, by the way. I will always put it out there. On this platform, you're always welcome, James Taylor. So in
You know what?
Sportswire, you're always
Thank
welcome.
you.
And
Thank
like I
you.
said, it is kind of like the house that you built in a lot of ways. You helped build Sportswire in many ways.
I don't want to take all the credit for that. No, this is more you. This is all you're doing. All wrestling matters. You say
Yes.
it. I was saying a while back, hashtag Sportswire Wrestling. You know, it is what it is, Tom. You do what you do. You're a humble man. You're real nice. You take care of folks. You like to listen to people. You give the people the microphone. You let them talk. You can kind of consider yourself in the radio world or in the podcast world. You should be called the voice of the voiceless, if anything, because no matter who it is, you let them come on here and they say whatever they want to say.
Oh, we actually are really, really to our word with that because in 2 weeks from now, we'll have some people that'll come on the show that we'll leave at a different place at a different time. I'll come back to a lot of that in a little while. But I wanted to really ask you tonight about, there's a big thing in the world going on in wrestling called WrestleMania. This obviously night one took place, and I know James Taylor. You probably heard of it. You probably heard of WrestleMania, and I was wondering for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, what did you think about it, and just overall reactions on night one of WrestleMania. First of all,
WrestleMania Night 1, I'm going to rate it out of 10 before I start giving it. Well, I'll do the rating at the end. Let's start off with the women's world title match between Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. I love the fact that Rhea's band played her to the ring. That was badass. Miss Taylor absolutely loved it. She's a big fan of Rhea Ripley. I've got Becky Lynch's book. I'm actually a fan of Becky Lynch
I
myself.
actually saw you. I probably am one of the few people that watched the entire interview, but I did see you mention that in the last interview. They won't even mention the name who you interviewed, but yeah, I did see that. By the way,
Eh,
I think the
yeah,
book was more. I think the book was more entertaining than his interview.
sadly, yeah, but nonetheless, I mean, it was still a good match to an extent. I feel bad hearing that Becky Lynch had a 102-degree fever during that match, and it was just like, wow, that girl's tough as nails. But you could tell she wasn't 100%. She gave it her all, but Rhea came out on top, and more power to her. So actually, we're going to see the continuing reign of Rhea Ripley. I'm actually pretty stoked about that. What about you?
Me too. No, I think Rhea Ripley has done a fantastic job as women's champion. I think that the fans have really kind of rallied around her. She's kind of become what she was when she won the title last year to where she is now. And she's kind of like the next big women's superstar that's in the vein of a Becky Lynch or a Charlotte Flair, and when she was around Sasha Banks, now Mercedes Moné, and I think she's done a fantastic job. And I've said it throughout on the shows we do Friday nights where we talk about WWE and other things. That I think that if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and I think that it should continue. And, Becky Lynch, kudos to her for going out there. But I was curious on your thoughts on this real quick, just in a general sense of night one. Two things. My first question is, the weather was a lot colder than they anticipated out there in Philadelphia. Now, you have obviously wrestled in a lot of different environments in your career. I'm curious, as a performer, how do you think that impacted the show tonight?
Well, I mean, it really depends on the superstars that we're in and who it affected the most. Hardcore matches are real brutal, and one guy we know in particular, Mr. Steele, and I wrestled in 22 degrees.
I know
And
about that very well. We spoke about that in TBW, that match. We
yep,
had it on the air, and I feel like that individual might be out there tonight.
he might be, but nonetheless, we know what it's like to wrestle out in the cold. And when you've got weapons involved, it's very brutal. And that ring is hard as a rock. I mean, but with them wrestling at about 50 degrees, or he kept saying it felt like 48 degrees, and they had a wind chill.
Yeah, here in New
You
York, I
know,
think we had just about the same weather. I'm probably about 2 hours away from the arena, from the stadium, and I would say that it was kind of chilly throughout. I don't even know. I think it might have touched 50 degrees there. Maybe it might have touched
yeah.
50, but by the time it got to like probably 10 o'clock there, 9:30, 10 o'clock, it definitely had to feel like you were in the 30s. I mean, I know people that were there and they were bundled up, and yeah,
Uh-huh.
I think the weather there,
It ain't
I
gonna
don't
be
know.
no different tomorrow either, from what I understand.
Yeah, maybe
So
a degree or two better. Unfortunately, the warm up happens Monday and Tuesday. So, unfortunately, the weather that they were hoping for, they're going to get Monday and Tuesday. Let me ask you a follow up on that, because obviously the weather was what it was. I know this is a different point. We'll get to some of the matches. We'll talk about some different things throughout night one. But what did you think in terms of how that impacted the crowd? Because I don't know about you. Philadelphia is historically known for being a really, really like tough, loud crowd. But I feel like at times
it was
it
dead.
exactly. And now, why do you think that was? Was it the weather? Was it because it's a long day? NXT Stand and Deliver. You had, if you were there Friday, you had the fan expos. I mean, why do you think that the crowd was so dull, especially for
I
Philadelphia standards?
I really think that it's because, well, it was a long day, so they had stand and deliver. They had, well, that was stand and deliver was at that other arena where they did SmackDown, but they had
But
the
people, I'm
the
sure,
kickoff show.
But I'm sure people went to Stand and Deliver and then went to Mania.
Right. But long day, cold, miserable, and they're
Oh,
just like, we want to see this. We're into it, but it's like I'm just sitting here and I'm freezing my ass off. And that main event, I feel so bad. Main event was long and drawn out. There was some good spots in it, but you could tell that crowd's like, "Can y'all hurry up? We're ready
It's
to
funny
go.
you said that, because I'm
We're ready
sure
to go."
somebody that we'll have come on in a few minutes will have a different take on it. But I felt that the main event was probably longer than we anticipated. Why do you think that was? Was that because other matches went shorter? I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts exactly is the fact that Rock hasn't. They kept saying Rock hasn't had an official match in 8 years. Yeah, WrestleMania 32,
Three
he had the
seconds,
six
six
second match
seconds.
with Eric
Yeah.
Rowan. His actual real official match, last
Against
match, was 11 years ago,
like,
WrestleMania 29 with John Cena.
which I
And that
watched the day
match,
before. Yeah.
yeah, that match was supposed to alone be 45 minutes, but Rock tore his quad and everything, and ended up being a 30-minute match at the
And when I
most.
watched that match over, you could tell, like, so many times in the match, there was one particular spot where he went on the turnbuckle and he stopped and paused. It was like, okay, there's something wrong with him. So yeah, you could,
Yeah.
definitely tell in the match that there was, something there. But yeah, he hadn't really wrestled in over a decade. I think that, they
So
kept saying a 6 second match, which means nothing if they really watch the match.
So Rock could be in the best shape of his life. He's chiseled, he's been on the strict diet, all that, but nothing. It doesn't matter what shape you're in physically. It's that ring shape. You being in the ring 300 days a year like Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes. I mean, not even Roman Reigns. No offense, Roman Reigns holding his own. He's doing well, but he's part timer because he's been battling leukemia and all that.
Yep.
But with Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes being on there 200 plus days a year, almost 300 days a year, they could go 90 minutes. They can go 120 minutes if they wanted to, literally. And I remember because I was sitting there with Miss Taylor. She was like, in a way, with the way Rock's been pacing, it kind of makes me think sometimes when you get in the ring after you haven't been in there for a while. I'm like, yeah, because I'm not in ring shape. You ever heard the term, I got to knock the ring rust off? When
Yep.
you're out of
I
the.
speak with a lot of the British guys, and they would talk a lot about that when COVID happened, because those guys were out for about, I think, like 15, 16 months, maybe even like 18. And guys would talk a lot about being gassed the first 5 minutes in the ring. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you can do all the cardio all day of the week. You really can. But when you hit them bumps in that ring, it'll knock your breath out. Oh, and I just wanted to make a small little comment to the people out there that decided they wanted to say that I've only had about 20 matches in my career. Fuck y'all, because I've had hundreds and hundreds of matches before I took my big break. When I came back, yeah, maybe it was only 20 or so matches because I was a part-time backyard wrestler. But I had a whole bunch back before.
And
But
you
it
started
doesn't
at
matter.
98. I mean, what
Yeah,
are we talking about?
but
I think we
it,
I want to say one thing on that, because I know we've talked about this on prior Sportswire shows. I think the real total we had mentioned at one point in your career was upwards of 200 to 300, not 20, because this came up because I know that I asked you that question before. 'Cause remember, your career starts in 98. It's not
yeah.
just starting in the return that you had a few years ago. In 98 it started. I mean, it could actually be more than that, because there were matches we don't even know that are accounted for in your decorated career, especially
I've
those
got all
wars
the
in TWF.
I've got all the damn tapes right here, and all those tapes has hundreds of matches on it.
There you go.
There were shows where we only had like 10 people, maybe 5 or 6 people sometimes, and you would play multiple characters, so you're wrestling multiple times a night because we're just having fun and we wanted to have a full show, and that's what we did. So I have a couple of hundred matches, but whatever people want to say, the hell with them. I don't care. I love the fact that you hate me and you can continue on to hate me. But we're going to go and get off that subject. But tonight at Philadelphia, WrestleMania Night 1, it was a pretty good show. But I could tell as the show went on, Tom, other than the Sami Zayn and Gunther match, that was really
That
emotional.
was
That
a
was
great,
really
yeah.
great.
There was something there to that. Was kind of surprising to me that that was the match that might have been the one I would have said, you know what, that was the best one. I mean,
Yeah.
because the fans really seemed to rally in that. What kind of, and it was funny because Sammy didn't seem like he was really favored in much of any if you follow some of the odds and stuff like that, but it just didn't seem like Sammy was going to have the momentum, but he kind of found a way. He rose to the occasion as you were looking up for some of those, great memories back in 98, 99, and 2000. But I'll tell you what, the crowd was probably louder at WrestleMania 15 in Philadelphia than they were tonight. But,
No,
I mean,
yeah,
I
I
got to
know.
say that the Sami Zayn Gunther match, and how about the irony that Gunther's title reign ends at 666 days? Did
I
somebody play a
know.
joke on that?
That's pretty long for an intercontinental
That's the
champion. It
longest
really
one in
is.
history, by the way. That
Hmm.
tops, listen, Bret Hart, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, the Macho Man, Randy Savage, Kurt Angle.
The
That
Honky Tonk
tops
Man.
Honky Tonk Man, who was the one who had the record, the Ultimate
Hmm.
Warrior, Rick Rude. I mean, there are some great wrestlers. Mr. Perfect, Stone Cold held the Intercontinental, The Rock held it. I mean, there's some great Triple H. I mean, Jeff Hardy. I mean, Kane. I mean, there's a number of great
Everybody.
wrestlers. Jeff Jarrett, obviously, the British Bulldog, Owen Hart. I mean, we can go up and down the list of some great Intercontinental champions. Edge, and it was Gunther that had the record, and he had the record by, I don't think anybody's going to ever touch that record, by the way.
Probably not. Not at least in this generation. And that match I would say would probably be match of the night, in my
For
opinion,
sure.
Tom. Like look at this. Check this out. Here's a tape. Right there. See, it says TWF April 25th, 2004.
It's
James
funny you said
Taylor.
that because,
Taft's
at,
birthday, VHS. Look, the fucking thing on top's broken, but the tape works still.
well,
You
that's
know,
funny you said that because April 25th is coming up, and I may have an announcement toward that. It's funny
and that
that
was 20 years ago.
the irony of that. I'm trying to think of what I was doing 20 years ago. I wasn't on Sportswire 20 years ago. I can tell you that much. But I want to say hello to my good buddy, Mr. Nate here. Mania was great tonight. He says hello. Did you feel Mania was great? I don't think it was great. I want to say great. I would say good. I mean,
I would.
I would say 7 out of 10.
If yeah, maybe it was not as I don't know. Hopefully, night two it'll be a little bit better.
Well, you
Half
got
of my
the well, night
predictions.
two. Well, and we're obviously going to bring somebody on here in a few minutes. So first of all, we'll think of it this way. Night 2, you got AJ Styles and LA Knight. I think it's a lot. That's become, there's a lot of heat there.
Mm-hmm.
Seth and Drew is going to be an interesting storyline. You
Yep.
got the main event. So you have some things there that you could point to that you would say, okay, I might want to see something there with that. So I think that though you're going to have drama, especially in the main event. You're going to have drama. What happens with Seth? So I think you're going to have some things there. I don't know if it'll be the greatest WrestleMania, but we're going to definitely, hopefully, improve from that. Let me ask you though: do you think that there was a lot of pressure and hype, and that this was supposed to be the greatest one, the hype, everybody this, and then it just didn't deliver tonight?
It
And
flopped.
what do you say?
It was a mediocre main event. The main attraction was going to be The Rock, basically. And I dig the People's Championship he came out with. I love the entrance, and
The
but
People's
it.
Championship belt coming out with you saw the belt come in at the end of the match, and the way the Rock and Roman stood, the handshake, the coming in the ring, and
Uh-huh.
the tag.
That was a
I
good
mean,
10 minutes just for them entrances.
well, what did you expect different? I mean, that
No,
was what it
I
was. I
guess
mean,
not.
honestly, WrestleMania is going to be probably determined on how the main event is tomorrow. Yes,
Yeah.
but bottom line is this: we're going to remember WrestleMania, whether it's night 1 or 2, depending on the main event. So,
Yep.
we'll have to see. But I do want to actually put up some social media. I'm going to share the screen here in a few minutes. But before we do anything, I want people to follow the legendary Nemesis James Taylor. After all, Sportswire Radio is the house that he built. You have a number of different ways you can follow him: Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Go and follow James Taylor. Follow him on this journey. And I have no doubt that James Taylor is going to be doing a lot of great things. He is back in the gym. He is training. I mean, you got to see what James Taylor is up to these days. He's even on his YouTube got a new photo. I mean, looks like he could be doing broadcasting instead. Maybe he's going to WWE to broadcast. Who knows? I mean, but
Never
James
know.
Taylor, you have to follow him. But James, there is somebody that's here that wants to give his opinion on WrestleMania Night 1. And I promise you it's not Craven Rage. I know he was your last interview. I can promise you it's not him, because certainly, I hear through a birdie that he was supposed to wrestle, but we'll certainly leave that at that to the IMF boys. But would you like to find out who this individual may be that would like to come on and share his opinions about WrestleMania Night 1?
So before you do, here's one tape. Here's two
Ah,
tape. Here's three tape.
oh,
Here's
wow.
four tape, 2002. Here's another one from 2003. Yeah, here's another one. Oh, wait, hold on. One, two, three, four, five more. All these
Oh,
are
wow.
matches I have yet to post on my social media.
Now, a
And
question for you. Do you still have a VHS player?
I definitely do. And it's right here by my PC.
Wow. Now,
So all I got to get is the transmitter, the what you would call it. I can't think of the technical term, but it's on.
converter? A converter?
A converter, yes. I got to get a new converter from the one that I had, because the one I had crapped out on me. That's why I haven't been able to post one. But the one I need to get in order for it to work really well with these tapes, so I could get the full digital content of it and save these tapes, is it's about 80 something dollars. So I will
Wow.
be getting that very soon. So
Wow, you know what? I didn't even realize you needed a converter, but I do want to say hello to my friend and somebody Mr. Peter Richards. Hey Tom, The Rock's on the press conference talking about more matches this year. I was wondering when the legendary James Taylor is returning to the ring for us. Obviously, a guy you know very well, Peter Richards. Anything you want to say toward this? I'm sure that people would like to hear some of the things you have to say, but anything you want to say to about this or?
just stay tuned. Stay tuned, because it's going to be happening really soon and really fast. And when it does, it's going to be like a lightning bolt. Whether people want to doubt me or not, I really don't give a fucking. Sorry, I don't give a shit anymore. I'm going to
I
do
hear
what
you.
I do best. I'm going to get in the ring, and the people that follow me and support me, thank you. The people that want to continue to hate on me, thank you too. Keep
Well,
believing whatever you want.
hopefully it'll
Think
be
that
the
I'm a stone cold knockoff. I'm sorry, Tom. Not trying to interrupt you, but I got to get it off my chest. Everybody that's out there that thinks I'm a stone cold knockoff, fine. Believe whatever the hell you want. The one thing I think that I do better than most guys is I know how to talk. It doesn't matter if I'm mimicking Stone Cold. It doesn't matter if I sound like Stone Cold. The fact is I know how to talk, and I know how to keep talking and get under someone else's skin. And I will continue to do that until the day that I die. I promise you. I'm gonna keep doing what I do best, Tom, and
Well,
that's entertain. And I entertain a lot of motherfuckers. You know that.
well,
So
hopefully you don't die anytime soon. And I do want to say that
no.
hopefully you don't, because we actually there's a wrestler I want to bring the guest on in a second. There's a wrestler overseas that we had on, and we had him on. I don't want to say his name. You can check it out because we do a lot of overseas interviews, and it wasn't my most recent guest, Mustafa Khan, a UK wrestling legend, also actor and kickboxer. But we had a guy come on the show, and there's some talk out there in the land of CCW and other places that this individual had done something that he should not have done at his last show he was a part of, and apparently he is in a psychiatric ward apparently for quote unquote things that he did or said. So we certainly don't want to encourage people to do anything like death or anything like that, because this wrestler we had on the show, I don't want to say when it was and who, but again, he was overseas, so it's nobody in the backyard, nobody here in stateside, but definitely we want to say not to encourage those things. But I'll take
No.
this off the screen and bring on the person that would like to come on and share his thoughts. And I guess you'll have to find out now because you have no idea who it is.
Bring it.
Bring up
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, is this LA Night?
Yeah.
Wrestling tomorrow. I thought you were wrestling tomorrow.
Sorry, I thought I'd come on and be James Taylor. Be a knockoff. I'm a knockoff of LA Knight, guys.
So now your role is now the LA Night knockoff. So we're gonna
Yeah.
So are you gonna have a TikTok account now and a YouTube page, and you're gonna do just LA Night videos, right? That's the whole new thing.
You damn right, Tom. That's the bottom line. Because LA Knight said so.
Oh yeah, because you want to know something, James? Because I have the name that everybody's saying, Anthony fucking Steele. Yeah.
But Anthony Steele, you can't be so bad because you were on the show Wednesday actually, and you said actually a few nice words about the late great Kurt Astor, who we put in our Hall of Fame. So I mean, you seem to actually be pretty well received on Wednesday night show with the owner of XCW, Joshua Fletcher, aka Fletch. You seem to actually, everything seemed to go pretty well on that show.
Oh yeah. See, well, the thing I gotta say, I don't care what people think about me. Like,
obviously,
that's me.
That's a known fact. I mean, we know.
Anthony, teach me your ways, because it seems like the roles are starting to reverse, because where everybody was hating you and loving me, it's almost like it's turning around. Now a lot of motherfuckers are hating me, but they're all loving you. And hey, just teach me your ways, old wise one.
Hey, that's because hey, look, I'm just a bad guy that gets paid to fuck up even worse guys. All right.
Well, let's certainly move off that for a few minutes. Anthony, it's good to see you as always. We were actually talking about WrestleMania Night 1, and James and I had our opinions on it, and I was curious on what you thought, because I know you were obviously watching the show like everybody else. And tell us what you think.
First of all, James, I've been watching backstage. The band's name is Motionless in White, and as MJF says, I was a fucking mark. And so I loved it.
By the way, MJF, former GTS employee, a company we do some work with. He was on GTS TV once.
Yes, sir.
Love GTS.
But nah, Rhea Becky, even with her condition that she was in.
Fever, yep.
Yeah. They literally put on a banger, man. They literally put on the banger. And then we go on to match number 2. We go on to the 6-man ladder match for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. Low-key a little salt that Austin Theory and Grayson Waller are SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
Now, it's funny. Everybody was like, they're not going to be in the match. They're going to be taken out. And yet they actually won the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Were you happy with that?
No.
And why? And tell me why.
Because overhyped.
Yep.
Overhyped.
And Theory always finds a way. He either was U.S. champion for a long time. He had the briefcase. They seem to like him still. They seem to see something in him that fans don't seem to. Almost kind of like what Baron Corbin was a few years. Remember Baron Corbin? They were trying to push him, and it just didn't seem to resonate on TV. And it's almost the same in a way with Austin Theory. You could make that point.
And if Austin Theory keeps going that same route, they're going to end up putting him on NXT.
Look, All I'm gonna say is this: moment of the match. R-Truth won twice.
Yes, right.
R-Truth won twice. He got a pinfall victory over the now former undisputed tag team champions on Finn Balor and the new reigning defending Raw tag team champions, Awesome Truth. Woo! 13 years in the making. I've been waiting so long.
That was R-Truth's WrestleMania moment.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, it's funny. I think I was mentioned on this yesterday on the show, and I said this would be his WrestleMania moment. That probably kind of, in a way, maybe puts a bow on solidifying him in the WWE Hall of Fame, kind of in a outside way, right?
Oh
Yeah, dude.
definitely.
For him being 52 years old, he doesn't look 52. He doesn't work like he's 52. He works like he was back in TNA, Ron Killen's era.
Hold on. I'm older, so he was in the Attitude Era with Jesse James with the Road Dogg.
Jay Quick. Yeah, he was Jay Quick for a little while.
Yeah,
Yep.
dude.
Jay
Like
Quick.
he's still doing the same moves, same stuff that he was doing
Well,
in
there's a
his
few
20s
guys
and
you can
stuff.
look at that don't age. Billy Gunn's always the name that comes to mind, who hasn't aged one bit, and he's still got the same physique, or maybe even a better physique. I mean, there's certain guys. I mean,
He looks more jacked now than he did
Hey.
back in Attitude Era.
I mean, and by the way, The Rock is more jacked than he was the last time we really saw him in a match. Not talking about the 6-second cameo. I mean, that's one way to look. I mean, there are certain guys that can certainly beat Father Time. I think Jeff Jarrett looks great if you watch AEW. He is aged very well.
I think I'm doing all right because I got a lot of friends that are my age that actually already got the gray hairs and shit, and I'm still got the same shit color that I've had since I was born.
Well, talking about Billy Gunn, it's weird because he signed to AEW. You really don't hear WWE mention or produce anything that has anything to do with AEW, but Ringside Collectibles has put out that they are making a Billy Gunn action figure that is going to be being released with Road Dogg. And so they're going to make a new Billy Gunn figure, and Billy Gunn's not even signed to WWE. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see what that goes for. But
and
then,
boy, he's got to be up there all time in tag team championships.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to be, what, I don't know, 15, 16-time tag team champion or something like that. I mean, he won.
I think he was a 9-time champion in WWE.
And then TNA, he won a bunch of times. He had, I think, an Impact. He won AEW. He was a part of, I think, right. He won something with that. And, I mean, he's probably got to be, I don't know, 14, 15-time champion. But yeah, certain guys, but, Ron the Truth Killings, aka now R-Truth, gets his moment. And we see the tag team championship split up. So I thought that was a fun match. What did you guys think about Uso versus Uso, though? Because that was the match a lot of people, if you're on Twitter, really seemed disappointed with.
I was really shocked that he picked up the victory, Jay.
Why?
Okay.
I was thinking that he was going to let his brother have it, Jimmy, honestly, because of the way Jimmy went out on SmackDown. Personally.
Look. I knew Jay was going to win, but
how did you know? What was your inkling?
How do I? Because this main event, Jay Uso. Yeet.
Yeah.
What do you like? The one thing I will say is, do we really get to see an Uso match, or do we see a Young Bucks match? Because it looked like a super kick party going on at Mania. Like, it underdelivered, in my opinion.
I wanted to ask you this. I asked James this question as we are here with two of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Famers. And, of course, the legendary Nemesis James Taylor and the real deal Anthony Steele. And, Anthony, I was asking James this, and I was curious on why did you think the crowd didn't seem to live up to what maybe we would have expected for Philadelphia? I was talking about the fact I'm about 2.5 hours away maybe from Philadelphia, and we were talking about the weather being an issue. It was very cold here in the Northeast today. Maybe the fans weren't into it because of the weather. Maybe it was the long day. But I'm curious from your vantage point, because you've wrestled in a lot of companies and you've been in a lot of big moments for different places, and I'm sure whether they want to admit it or not, but I was just curious from your vantage point, why do you think the crowd was kind of mild at best tonight?
Well, I think James probably already said this earlier, but 22 degrees is what me and James did.
Yes, well, we watched the match live on Sportswire. Yeah. It wasn't quite 22 there, but it was probably
felt 46.
I said 4. I was gonna say 44 probably, but yeah. in the
When your
ballpark.
adrenaline's pumping, you can. It doesn't matter about the weather, honestly.
See,
Is the weather
the
a
the
factor? Is it a factor?
I think it was a factor for the simple fact that everyone, they were dressing, they packed and dressed for, a Philly night, man. Like everyone was ready to, they knew it was a unclosed arena. They knew it was going to be open. They thought it was going to be, a little windy, but not, chilly like that.
Well, the weather
And
in the Northeast the last like 2 weeks has been absolutely miserable, and ironically enough, they're going to get nice weather here and in Philadelphia, in New York, Monday and Tuesday. That was the weather they were counting on, and this weekend, tomorrow is going to be maybe slightly better, a couple degrees if lucky, and you know, I don't
I
know.
just, I just think, they didn't prepare. You always got to prepare for the worst, and just in case. But also, some of the matches didn't live up to the hype. I mean, you had you built up Ray and Dragon Lee versus
That
Santos
was the
and
match
Dami.
that I forgot to mention
Yeah,
off the air. That was the one Andrade and Ray and
like they boosted it up so well for Dominic and Santos versus Ray
Andrade.
and Dragon Lee, and then on Friday, magically just take Dragon Lee out, put Andrade in at last minute, and then have the match night one. So you have one less than 24 hours of building.
Maybe they thought they
Um,
would had the momentum now. Let's go cap it.
I
Just go
mean,
right off it.
I'd say the probably, in my opinion, the best moment was Jason Kelsey throwing Dominic Mysterio into that turnbuckle post.
Well, you know what? They at least played. They had the moment where the hometown guy who's retiring from the NFL gets one more moment in his home city.
Oh yeah,
That kind
I
of
look,
saved it, I guess.
I looked at him. If y'all were watching football, which Tom I think you were, when
I do
I think it
watch
was
America.
the AFC Championship game or the conference finals. Um,
Well,
where Jason Kelsey got eliminated and he came in.
he got
He
eliminated
he
in wild
he
card weekend. He was
yeah.
eliminated.
Well, he went and watched the Chiefs game,
Yep.
and he was in the skybox, shirt off, beer in
Yes.
hand, dancing, all that. So when he took his shirt off at the end of the match at Mania, I looked at my roommate. I was like, "Someone get him a beer. He's got his shirt off."
Well, let me get to a couple comments here. I want to say a little. One of our buddies, who, by the way, once upon a time was a wrestler in a company that I actually own a portion of now, called the PWF. By the way, so the Pride Wrestling Federation. That is Mr. Jack Delta. Jey Uso was exposed as a tag team wrestler in this match, in my opinion. He's super over, but his matches really ain't it. His match with Roman was mid, and same with his brother. He also wants to point out American crowds suck. That's why they've been doing a ton of out of the country events, which I actually was speaking to a promoter off the air. Was actually telling me some of these things, actually talking to a British promoter, which I can't name his name yet, but he's coming to Sportswire. He promised me not to say anything. And in my opinion, the first half of Mania wasn't really that good. Gunther and Sami Zayn in the main event kicked ass. Do you guys agree with
Well,
that? I mean, what do you say on those
okay.
things?
So my opinion is,
Sure, go for it.
in my opinion, I don't think Jay is a bad singles competitor. I think the match sucked because Jimmy is not a good singles competitor.
Do you
Jimmy
agree
is
with
so
that?
used.
Okay, go ahead, Anthony. Go ahead.
Uh, Jimmy is so used to tag teams. When him and Jay split up, Jimmy was doing tag teams with Solo. He's always used to tag team matches. Jay's got that experience of when Jimmy was injured, going through and doing a singles run and having all these matches like that. And I think working with Jimmy at Mania, they hyped it up good. It was every
I
15
mean,
years you
brother
got
versus
a
brother. Yeah,
yeah,
we've only
brother
had
brother,
three of them. Yeah, Brett and Owen, Jeff and Matt, and
different Matt,
we had
and
this
then
one.
Uso. But to say Jay is a bad solo competitor, I don't agree with. But I will agree with Sami Zayn. I 100% say Sami Zayn and Gunther stole the show.
I didn't
Um,
expect that one because I was like, I didn't know. I was talking about this match on my show yesterday, and we were speaking about it with Randy Dillon and TBK, and we were saying like, well, I really haven't had the build in that match. Gable should have. Everybody's like Gable should have been in it, and then you saw even going into the match, Gable goes, "You've got it on your own. You've got it," and it seemed like almost in a way, okay, well maybe that kind of tells you Sammy is not going to have it. Something hokey is going to happen, and at the end of the day, the crowd and the moment, the wife being there, maybe that emotions and the way Sammy kept kicking out and. He was able to find a way, and ironically enough, end a title reign at 666 days. 666. Yep, the number of the beast. Iron Maiden.
Well, I'm gonna go off of a comment that I'm reading, and then I'm gonna get back to the Sammy and Gunther match. You said name one singles match.
Give him one good singles
with Jay since they split last summer.
And he loves Jey Uso, by the way. Wants to put it out.
So let's do. I'm trying to remember the event. One. Okay. Roman, Jay, Hell in a Cell, I Quit.
He brought up that it was a mid-level match. He didn't think it was that great, that match.
Okay.
How about Gunther on Raw last month? You want to throw that one out there? Do you think that was a good match?
Yeah. Gunther versus Jay.
Let's save you on that one there.
Like it's multiple. Like he's had multiple good matches. Shoot, I'll even say the Fatal 4 where he qualified to face Roman once right after Jimmy got injured. The match that created the storyline that basically showed how he can do single competitor work. Where he faced, I think it was Matt Riddle, Baron Corbin, and
Sheamus. You say Matt Riddle's name in WWE?
I don't care. I'm not in WWE. Yet. Not in WWE yet. But like that was a phenomenal match. It solidified him as a singles competitor. And now am I gonna say he's like the greatest? No. Is he a good tag team worker? Yes. But he's had a great singles run. Now Gunther and Sammy. I hate Gunther. I hate him with a passion. I hate Gunther. I hate Walter. I hate the whole Imperium.
Well, so why do you not like Gunther? Why do you not like him?
Okay. Y'all, people are gonna give me shit from this.
But what else?
Y'all.
Yeah,
exactly.
What else is new?
A lot of people give John Cena shit because they say he has the 5 moves of doom, right?
That was and Bret Hart, by the way, was Mr. 5 moves of doom, by the way.
So let me say this: John Cena, multi-time world champion, multi-time United States champion, multi-time tag team champion. The only thing he's not held is the Intercontinental Championship.
Yep.
All right. Bret Hart.
Yep.
Bret Hart, multi-time world champion, multi-time Intercontinental champion, multi-time tag team champion. I think did he win the United States?
Yeah. Yes, he was U.S. champion in WCW in the quote-unquote WWE comeback. He had the quote-unquote.
Okay. Gunther. Gunther's been in WWE for, I want to say, so it was what, 2018, 2019? NXT UK?
Yeah.
All right. So, all he's known is for chops, big boots, power bombs, splashes, and a fucking sleeper hold. 5 moves. Hey, guys, what does that represent? 5 moves of doom. All right. He got over for chops because he can chop really hard. Okay, listen, Andre the Giant can chop really hard. Big Show can chop really hard.
But could you say, though, that he brings in a European style and a European fan base would like to be represented?
But that's the thing. He's a representative of the European territory. I get that.
Which are big supporters of us on Sportzwire. I want to put it out there. Big supporters of mine. So be kind on this.
But we gotta look at it as this. All right. We finally got an Australia representative in Rhea Ripley. The only other time I really can think they had a big Australia representative is when they went to Australia for, I think it was the first Super Showdown, and Buddy Murphy beat Cedric Alexander for the Cruiserweight Championship.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anybody else. I mean,
so you have Gunther, European territory.
Yep.
Look at all the other people who's in the European territory. Ilya Dragunov, the current reigning defending NXT champion.
Yes.
The dude who ended Walter's streak to beat him for the title in NXT UK. Who is 10 times better, can do 10 times more than Gunther, and is stuck in NXT. Pete Dunne, UK. A dude who at the time was the longest reigning NXT UK champion. Could go through anybody, any size.
Yep.
They used him so well. Then once he lost to Gunther, got the rematch, had another match with him, lost the match. What happened after that?
He's been mired in, he was in the tag team, title thing here, but other than that, he's been in mediocrity. Right. Yeah.
Exactly. So the way I look at it is, WWE right now, you have your good talent, you have your great talent, you have your
and by the way,
talent.
when I give you breaking news, Anthony, you're going shotgun with me because James Taylor has some technical difficulties, so he's unfortunately off. That means we get to go talk. So Anthony, you in a microphone with just you. I mean, who knows? This could be the next 90 minutes.
Look. It's real deal talk on the Sportzwire radio.
What else is new, Anthony? I mean, after all, maybe we should just, Anthony, at this point, now you got a microphone, you got a new setup. Maybe I should retire and give, maybe I should give you Sportzwire. We're talking about PWF and, I've obviously got a portion of it now, but, maybe I should just let you have the microphone on Sportswire radio because, imagine you with a microphone, ratings and views will go up. So maybe I should retire. I should call it a day, and we'll let you, Anthony Steele, become the real talker. Instead of the real deal, you could be the real host. I mean, the real host of Sportswire Radio. Get it? You could be the real host and owner, After all, people want to see you more than they want to see me these days. It's a joke. I'm only teasing, but go ahead.
Look. All right.
Yes.
So now I got a microphone. Now I'm about to hit my Sportswire Radio placement. All right. So the way I look at wrestling, and I've had a full on conversation with a bunch of people, and they agree on this.
Okay.
Storyline wise,
yep.
WWE is great. WWE has great storylines. Some of them drag on way too damn long than they should.
Okay.
But
better than AEW, though, obviously.
Better than AEW. Now, when it comes to matches that we want to see, WWE really doesn't really give us what we want on that term.
But they write for a different audience.
Yeah.
AEW's audience is for the people that are on the internet. They're the internet fans. WWE's audience is completely different.
So my argument with that is, you got AEW, who gives you dream match after dream match after dream match, stuff that we actually want to see. Because we know that if we saw that, the crowd's going to go crazy. We're gonna be entertained.
And we're getting Danielson and Ospreay, by the way, coming up real soon. I mean, that's a match arguably could be maybe one of the greatest matches in modern history, right? I mean, that's a match that, to be fair, guys come on the platform and say, oh, AEW this, AEW that. But to be fair, Ospreay and Danielson is a generational match. I mean, almost be like you and Jack Delta maybe in the backyard.
We'll see if that ever happens. But let's go down the list. All right.
Okay.
For everyone watching,
I have 30 people watching this right now, by the way. 30 people. So a lot of people seem to be tuned in.
Even though I don't care about people's opinions, because, opinions are like assholes. I have my own. You have your own. That's how we roll.
I tend to have no opinion, by the way. I just let people talk. That's my rationale toward that. Stand-up comedy is really my thing, but go ahead.
AEW. I'll start with AEW.
Okay.
We got Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage.
Right.
3 times.
Yes, we did.
Great work. A lot of people shit on Edge for his in-ring capabilities. They say Christian's better. In my terms, Edge is better.
And why is that? Why?
Edge is better.
And why was that?
Better. He's better on the mic.
Okay.
He's better in ring. This dude came back from a neck injury.
He was out for about 9 years.
A head injury. I think it was either a head or neck injury.
No, he had a neck. Adam Copeland had neck issues for 9 years. He was basically out of
9 years. 9 years. And I remember it to the day. I was sitting there. It was the night of the Royal Rumble that he returned in.
Yes.
He posted on his Instagram, I think an hour before the show, an hour or two before the show, of
Right.
him sitting in a hotel room with his bag open at his legs, with his gear sitting right into it,
Okay.
with the caption that says, "I wonder what this would feel like 9 years later." And
Right.
then that night, at entrant number 20, we hear the famous words, "You think you know me?" Crowd goes wild. One of the
Have
greatest
you been
returns of
doing
all time.
broadcasting notes? You sound like a broadcaster now. Forget about the last time you really came on the platform. Are you becoming a broadcaster now? I mean, that's what you
Hey,
sound like right now.
hey, look, man. You gotta fit the part if you're gonna play it.
You sound like you could take over my shoes, but go ahead. I'm listening.
All right. So we got Edge and Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. All right. MJF, Adam Cole.
Yes, but they built from that was the one
All
storyline they built for a long time. I
yeah.
agree.
All in London. Main event. 102,000 people in attendance. The
Yes.
biggest attendance for a professional wrestling event of all time. You had heartfelt moments, you had back and forth moments, and you had jaw dropping moments. And you can feel everything that they were doing in that match. Okay. Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the best technical wrestler? Dream match. You had Kazuchika Okada versus Bryan Danielson, a match
Right.
that the world wanted to see.
Absolutely.
Hiroshi Tanahashi versus John Moxley, a match everyone wanted to see.
Absolutely.
We got the rematch of Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega from Wrestle Kingdom 17. A
Yep.
match that I stayed up, started watching at 1 o'clock in the morning, and stayed up till 5 a.m. to finish the entire event. Just to watch that match. For the IWGP United States Championship, where Kenny Omega was basically playing the part of he left. He was playing the Cody Rhodes. He left New Japan. He was gone. Will Ospreay was the new face of New Japan,
Yep.
and there was nothing that Kenny could do about it.
Right.
And the spots that they had there, they looked at it the same way I look at a match, especially going back to a match that I've already had before. What could we do the second time that we didn't do the first to top the last? Okay.
A lot of pressure there though to top something you
Ex-
already did though, right?
exactly. Um, let's see. What else did we get? We
And while
got
while while you do that, I like to read off some comments because a lot of
no
people would have
problem.
liked to have talked. Peter Richards wants to say, little Wayne part, my eyes need to be checked. Part sucked so bad he sounded like Donnie from the Wild Thornberries. All right, that was an interesting one. Yeah, I didn't care much for the little Wayne part. I'll give you that. Gunther has been champion all but like 65 days since he joined the main roster. Yeah, that's about right. 2 years ago, he got called up and he's been champion for just about 90% of the time. All right, that's a good point. Jack Delta wants to say he doesn't do it in a sequence like Cena. All of Gunther's moves have ended a match before. Gunther has been a champion for, which is what Peter basically said. Gunther broke every single record for the IC and women. We talked about that off the air. We were talking about Honky Tonk Man. We mentioned Bret Hart, Ricky Steamboat, Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior, Stone Cold. We mentioned The Rock, Owen Hart. We mentioned the British Bulldog, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, all those different guys. Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho, Jeff Jarrett, and he blew all of them out of the water. Naomi was the worst performance tonight for me. Yeah, I didn't care for the 6-woman tag. It was kind of like I didn't care for it. Jay versus Jimmy was a disappointment. I think that's a fair statement. I think it's pretty fair. Rhea versus Becky, I think was a good opener. Main event was match of the night. I think Becky versus Rhea, was that better for you than the main event? I think that's a fair kind of question. What do you say on that while I read off more
No,
comments? No, tell me why. You tell
no.
me before I come back to Jack Delta.
Okay, so basically, it was a good match. Don't get me wrong. I loved the match. I thought it was fantastic. But Roman and Rock and Cody and Seth told a story. They told a story that they've been building up for the past 2 months. All right. So when you have a match that goes that long, and a lot of people look at it and they were like, "Oh, it's so slow pace. There's not really much going on." From a wrestler's point of view, that's the best part. That's the best part.
Which we
'Cause
don't
now we
really hear
have
much on the platform about. We never really talk about WWE in this way. I mean, we do it on the Friday shows, but we don't really do it in the vein of what you're talking about.
exactly, and it's like that to me. I'll say this because I can't speak for everyone. To me, that's the best part because then the attention of the audience is looking at the match and be like, okay, are they going to top this or is it going to build up? Is it going to have a big climax and go into a falling action into a resolution? What is it going to have that story base? And then once you grab the attention of the crowd back, when you have those close calls, those close finishes,
2.5 count and
yeah,
the 2 3/4, and Michael Cole goes, "Oh my God, we almost
oh
had it.
yeah.
Oh, it was 2 and it was this close." Yeah, I got you.
See, that's to me, that's what makes a match great. From a wrestler's point of view and an audience point of view. Because what I love to do is when I watch matches like that, I look at it from a wrestling point of view when I'm watching it, for the simple fact that I can call out some botches that a lot of people, to the regular people's eye, wouldn't see.
Won't catch.
But
Yeah,
then
wrestlers tell me
yeah,
that all the time. One of our obviously favorites is the Tribal Cheese, and he had a match which he's going to talk about on Friday's show that he just had. And he goes, "I want you to watch this match, and I want you to tell me what I did wrong in the match." So that's basically what you're referring to. Now, I can't tell you on the air what he did wrong because, well, you wouldn't know. But when he's on the air, we'll talk about it. But I understand your point. Go ahead.
but then I look at it from an audience point of view.
Right.
Like what would I want to see? What will make this entertaining? So, okay, you had a couple big spots in the Rhea match. You know, Becky couldn't perform as she usually does.
102
And
fever.
yeah, but then you got Rock and Roman, Seth and Cody, four of the biggest names in professional wrestling.
And what did you think about The Rock's performance for not being in a ring for over a decade? What did you think about that?
Other than him fumbling into the ring at one point, and me yelling at the TV, "I hope you tore your quad." Um,
That sounds like you. You probably said that on Sportswire.
I
Guys now are like,
great.
"Oh, that's the Anthony Steele I know on Sportswire when he goes off on everybody. That's the Anthony
yeah.
Steele, right?"
See, The Rock did what he does best. He got
He
in
looked
shape.
great out there. I mean, he looked great physique wise.
He got in shape. He trained his ass off because he knew he was going to be in a match of a lifetime. One, he's performing next to his cousin. First time ever. He's able to wrestle with his cousin.
And also first wrestler other than The Undertaker to have been in a main event in WrestleMania in 4 decades. Think about that. Hogan hadn't done that. Austin hadn't done that. Triple H hadn't done that. Certainly Flair didn't do that. And yet The Rock now has main evented in 4 different decades. And by the way, before I come back to that, I want to say hello to one of my listeners, Angela Pinkasoff, who's Angela Pink, as she's known in the friendly confines of Midwood, Brooklyn, says, "To you, Anthony, what's with the disco lights?" She wants to know. She just tuned in. And before I get to more comments, wants to know what's with the disco lights. That's her opinion, not mine.
I'm going to tell you the same thing I told y'all on Wednesday night. It's a party all day, every day. So,
when you come on Sportswire, the viewership goes up. I got 36 people that are watching us right now. So apparently, people want to hear you.
At this point, I might as well put a caption when I come on here, be like, "Censor warning, flashing lights."
No, there's no disclaimers. We're talking WrestleMania. We're not talking about anything controversial. There's no although you might not like tomorrow's show with Xavier Thorne. I mean, maybe you will like it.
We'll have to see.
Oh, we'll certainly have to see. Yep. We'll certainly have to see. Yeah, we'll definitely see.
Rock did what he did in WrestleMania 29 with Cena. He went in, he did his spots like he normally does. He worked a match really fucking well. He showed what he can still work with the new talent. he can evolve. And I
which
know
is
I say that a lot. I say that a lot. Evolving.
Which is
So
a
it
lot of guys
always
can't do that. I mean, listen, I mentioned Hogan just before. Hogan wasn't really able to evolve. A lot of guys that are in their 50s who've been away from the sport, wouldn't be able to do those things. And he was able to, do that. But Angela wants to also say that she likes the disco lights. She does like them. I do want to get to comments because a
thank you,
lot of people
thank you,
want
thank
to
you.
say different things here. Let me
Let me say one more thing
Sure,
about the
absolutely. I saw
Roman.
a lot of comments. People,
Oh
people are
no, you're
getting
good.
people are getting warmed up. They see
Oh
you
yeah.
live now. They woke up.
So when you look at that match, what
Debatable.
moments are you what moments are you gonna remember?
The belt, hitting
The
Cody with the belt.
hitting Cody with the belt, right? Okay.
How about the spot
Cody
where the Rock was gonna looks like he was gonna try the rock bottom, and then he was the one that
Cody yeah.
yeah.
Cody hits the rock bottom on the rock through the table.
Yep.
Okay.
And then
Roman
Roman hit Seth.
hit
He speared him.
Roman hit the rock with a spear. Okay.
Rock got hit with the spear, and then Seth
Yeah.
got hit with the spear through the
The
outside.
barricade.
Yep, correct.
So you have memorable moments, something that is going to stand out, and also storytell. Okay.
Right.
What do you remember from that Becky and Rhea match?
Mm, not as much. I mean, I don't. I mean, Rhea maybe facial mannerisms, spot or two here and there. You know, it
The big
wasn't.
spot, the big spot
Yeah,
I remember
I
from
said
Rhea and Becky.
I said one or two spots you're gonna remember.
The one spot that I remember that stuck out to me is the riptide on the top rope back into another riptide during the match.
And that was the finish.
Yeah,
Other than that, what did you remember?
exactly.
Okay, fair enough. Let me get to a bunch of things here. Jack Delta wants to say the dream matches mean nothing when they have no reason. AEW is junk food. It's good in the moment, but they have no long lasting value for it, which Eric Bischoff has been saying on his show for months. WWE is like home cooked food, longer to prepare, but it fills you up. It's so funny now that WWE has now become that company when like 10 years ago, everybody said that wasn't WWE. I just think that's ironic. If these matches are so good and these guys are that big of a draw, why did more people watch that midget wrestling show than Dynamite? Yeah, Dynamite, it's funny. I think did Dynamite even draw 750,000 viewers? And they spent all that money on Osprey. They spent all this money on Okada. They spent all this money on Mercedes Moné. They spent all this money on Saraya when she came in, Adam Copeland, and yet nobody draws. Want to say hello to my buddy Ron Franklin, who was actually there at WrestleMania, and he says I'm worn out from today. Are you going to night 2? By the way, my brother is going to be there at night 2. He also wants to commend you on the shirt because he loves Rhea Ripley, as a lot of people do. I mean, certainly, yeah. Well, a lot of people do. I mean, certainly the artist formerly known. Yeah. Okay. Well, Buddy Murphy talked about how he loved Rhea in different ways, but I'm not going to repeat that here because it's a family show. I think I might know who this person is. Dominic, but I'm not going to say who I think it could be related
I'm
to.
I'm ready for tomorrow night, so I'm gonna show you what I'm ready for.
Okay. Oh, I did think, by the way, at the beginning of the show that you were actually doing your LA Knight version, as everybody says James is a Stone Cold version. I was tending to think that Anthony Steele was becoming more or less a new LA Knight, But I think
The,
Sean Jovi's got the year, though.
hey,
Want to say hello to
the,
my buddy, speaking of Australia, Mr. Ace Reed of the Wired Up Podcast. Ace Reed, by the way, this is good news for you. Ace Reed, when are you interviewing Anthony Steele? Because you've had Jack Delta on, you've had Jackson Law on, you've had CJ Black. You got to get Anthony Steele on. When are you interviewing Anthony Steele?
my DMs are open.
Roman looked a little buff. Okay, but he's always looked buff, though, doesn't
He's
he?
always. The
Reference.
joke I said. The joke I said to that was on Roman. Is midway through the match, he looked like he looked like he was drunk. His hair was all frizzled.
Yeah,
His
the
face
hair
was all
came down, and yeah.
He looked discombobulated. He
Oh,
looked like
he
he
was
didn't
at
know
a
what he was
watch
doing.
party. He was at the fan thing yesterday, but he was not at night 1. I went to the superstore again, chilled with some friends, and posted some stories on Instagram. Are you going to night 2 tomorrow? I think I would like to know that. Are you going to night 2? So main event you liked then. So you liked the main event. So you didn't
I loved it.
the time length didn't bother you. It didn't go
No,
longer than you thought?
nope. I
Okay.
thought it was perfect, perfect, a perfect setting to tell a story. Because
And the
now
story is going into it is Cody with his look knows that basically he's a word that I wouldn't say on the air, but basically the word is that he's in a cluster. Basically, he's a cluster. Fill in the blanks because it's bloodline rules
here,
tomorrow. Bloodline.
as I saw the video, you'll say the first word, I'll say the next word, so you ain't gotta say it.
It's a cluster.
Fuck.
I see. We can fill each other's words, but he knew it from his mannerisms, his facial reaction, and the way Seth came in the ring. He's in trouble. He's in doo-doo tomorrow. I mean, it's bloodline. It's bloodline rules. I mean, it's
Bloodline rules. And hey guys, here's Anthony Steele's prediction for tomorrow night main event.
Let's go with it. Is James Taylor coming out as Stone Cold?
Rock turns on Roman. Cody wins.
Really?
Roman loses championship due to The Rock.
Wait a minute. All right.
I'll tell you long-term storytelling.
Okay, tell me the story because everybody's now swearing up and down it's Rock and Cody at SummerSlam. Now again, I don't participate in any of this stuff, but you tell me why differently.
So this is how it's going to go. Rock turns on Roman at Mania. Roman loses his championship to Cody Rhodes. Roman goes away for a little bit. He wanted time off anyway. Cody
wins tomorrow? Are you saying Cody wins?
Cody wins tomorrow.
You sure?
And then at Crown Jewel in Saudi is going to be Rock, Cody, 1-on-1. Roman returns, costs The Rock the match, sets up for a Roman Rock SummerSlam in Cleveland, Ohio in August. Those are my predictions. Now, I want y'all to mark this date. Sunday, April 7th at 12 o'clock a.m. on the dot Central Standard Time.
And 1 a.m. Eastern Time here in New York.
Anthony Steele made that prediction. If that all happens, y'all can come back and tell me I don't know what I'm doing when I talk about wrestling.
Well, I'm here depending on where you are today or tomorrow with Xavier Thorne, the standout Xavier Thorne. I mean, maybe, Xavier Thorne will give a different side of things.
I don't care what he has to think.
Why not? Why not? I think a lot of people are going to want to hear what Xavier Thorne has to say. I mean, he's Xavier Thorne.
I mean, I want a good laugh. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you want to actually see something. I actually can show you something that actually Mr. Thorne had a hand in because I'm sure you're aware of it now, but yours truly actually owns a portion of something that Mr. Thorne used to be involved with and that's where Mr. Delta actually used to work for and be a champion for. And, maybe I should ask if you'd want to wrestle in this company, the Pride Wrestling Federation. It wouldn't be a show if I at least didn't try to ask you, if this is a place you'd want to go. Although apparently my business partners are Mr. Omen Black and Soldier GP, so they might have different plans, but I did want to at least ask you, since I have a portion of this company that,
Never say never.
Fair enough. But if you want to check out this company, actually, I would hope that you give us a sub on YouTube and, make sure you support us because yours truly actually owns a portion of the company now.
I might now. Now that
you might now. Oh, now, yeah, because the guy that originally started the company, he doesn't have any stake in it. So that guy you don't have to worry about. But this guy you can actually check out. But Ron said he's going to be watching from home. Okay, so you really don't think though that somebody like a Stone Cold or a John Cena is coming out tomorrow? It's just going to be The Rock turns on Roman straight up. Why?
Well, I mean, there's going to be appearance. It's already been announced that Cena and Stone Cold are going to be at Mania.
Yep.
They don't know exactly. They didn't announce exactly what they're doing. I think what it's going to look like is.
Would there in any way set up one more time Stone Cold and The Rock?
Potentially. Once the Rock Roman thing is done, we could potentially have one more match with Stone Cold and The Rock.
Because I would have to think Stone Cold's last match can't be, with all due respect to Kevin Owens.
With all due respect, I think it was a great match.
With all due respect, I agree with you. But should that be Stone Cold's last opponent? That's where I say.
I mean, no.
Okay.
Just like, do I think that Solo Sikoa should be Cena's last opponent? Hell no.
But I feel like John Cena, though, realistically will have another match. I mean, he basically said
Oh
he would
yeah.
have another match. The difference is Stone Cold is near 60. Cena's closer to 50. So it means Cena's got some legs left. Austin, we don't know.
All right, here you guys go. Here's my take. You want to know who I think Cena's last match should be against?
Anthony Steele?
I fucking wish.
Jack Delta?
No. CM Punk.
Atomic Titan?
CM Punk.
So not Atomic Titan?
No.
Not C2K?
Oh, hell no.
That's that Drake. That's the big bad Solo.
Oh, fuck no.
Loose Cannon? Getting warmer?
God no.
Zack Attack? Getting really warm. Okay, we were just having fun. But so you say Cena's last person. Why? Because of the history years ago?
All right, I'm going to say this. One of the best matches in WWE history, CM Punk, John Cena, Money in the Bank 2011, Chicago, Illinois, hometown crowd for CM Punk. CM Punk finally wins the WWE Championship, blows Vince McMahon a kiss, and leaves the arena. I'm sorry, you can't recreate that. Recreate that.
I want to ask you one question on CM Punk, which I get a lot when I do my WWE coverage. Is CM Punk outside of Chicago worth the attraction? Because in Chicago, he is, I mean, like a firecracker. But outside of Chicago, what is he?
Okay. First of all, you're talking to an Illinois boy.
Well, that's
born and raised. Yeah. I will 100% say CM Punk is that guy. All right. CM Punk has put his blood, sweat, and tears in this industry.
Absolutely.
Into this company alone.
Never deny that. Absolutely, 1,000%.
He's had historic matches. Here, I'll name a couple that I, in my opinion, think are some of his best matches.
Go for it.
John Cena, Money in the Bank, 2011.
Okay.
Randy Orton, WrestleMania 27. Jeff Hardy at SummerSlam 2000.
Was it 8?
8. I think
it was
2008 right? Or no, 2009. Yeah, 2009.
Okay.
Let's see. Rey Mysterio versus CM Punk, WrestleMania 26.
You're gonna throw you're gonna throw a Daniel Bryan match in there or what?
No, almost one of the most slept on fucking matches. CM Punk versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 29.
I don't think that's a slept on match. It's the problem with that. It's the one before The Undertaker loses the streak. So it gets lost in the shuffle. The Undertaker also had so many WrestleMania matches that, you know.
Hey, Soldier, because I can read your comment.
Oh, you can. Yep, he's here, by the way, Soldier.
Soldier, you only sell in Iowa, so it's okay.
But that's actually not true. Obviously, that's not true because on Encounters, he was a part of, I believe, if not the second highest episode on XCW Encounters. And they were on ROEW in Michigan. They were part of some of the higher viewed ROEW shows. And let's not even go there with WCE. I mean, these guys, what they drew in WCE, you know, as Soldier, you don't sell anywhere.
Hey, look at this. So you know how you just defended Soldier and named off his accomplishment.
I got one for you though. You know, Fletch didn't kick you off the show on Wednesday.
Exactly. You want to know why?
Because
I sell.
He needs viewers.
Because I sell.
He needs viewers.
Because I sell.
And you know,
the same way you just
didn't Triple W want to sign you?
The same way you just defended Soldier GP is the same way I can defend CM Punk.
And I just defended you the same way as Soldier GP, by the way. To be fair.
Exactly. Here, okay. CM Punk only sells in Chicago, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, CM Punk's first match back in 7 years with Darby Allin was not in Chicago. Was probably one of the best matches around. All right. CM Punk versus MJF, 1 and 2. Mostly the dog collar match at Revolution. Wasn't in Chicago. Sold like a motherfucker. still to this day rated best, one of the best AEW matches. Or
Yeah, no, I agree.
can we talk about the 17-minute promo with MJF and CM Punk on an episode of Dynamite that wasn't in Chicago?
Yes, we can talk about it.
That is I think it's like the third or fourth
I
most viewed video on AEW's entire
And
YouTube
I
channel.
thought, if I'm not mistaken, Punk was a part of the highest viewed AEW episode of any sort in history, right? I'm pretty sure
Exactly.
he was a part of the highest number 1 and number 2, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, AEW only crossed 1 million a handful of times. I think Punk was a part of all those shows, right?
Okay, so that's Soldier. That's the AEW side. Let's go to WWE. WrestleMania 29 was not in Chicago.
Right.
Was voted match of the night.
Okay.
Match of the night.
Okay.
Okay. So then you got
his title run was the longest title run
of the new era.
And the longest run since Hogan, right? Wasn't the longest run
Since
Hogan?
Cena. No. Since
Did he go past Cena? I thought he did.
Yeah, he went past Cena.
I think he did, right? Because he was over a year. He was 400 something days.
431 to be exact.
And that was the longest run of anybody, I think. I want to say since, right? Yeah. I don't know if Cena had more than 431.
No, Cena was, I think it was 386, 387.
That's my point. You just made my point. But Soldier claims, from his words, that all those times you say was the other wrestlers were involved.
Okay, so here we go. If you want to talk about it,
yeah,
it takes 2 to tango, homie.
Right,
it takes 2 to tango. 2 to tango. Let's say this. We'll talk about this. When Darby Allin was dropping hints of CM Punk coming to AEW, that wasn't even in Chicago. It was promoted that he was going to make an announcement in Chicago, but wasn't even in Chicago, and everyone knew it was CM Punk. How many chants on a weekly basis when CM Punk wasn't in WWE and not even in Chicago? How many CM Punk chants did you hear in that crowd? Every week. Every week. When you were in, okay, so Survivor Series was in Chicago last year.
Correct.
Everyone was like, it's got to be time. It's got to be time. And as soon as CM Punk showed up in Chicago at Survivor Series War Games, after the men's War Games match was done, happened, memorable spots, that is the most viewed video of the night. Of the night. Then when he comes on Monday Night Raw.
Well, that was, I believe, the most viewed, right? That was the number 1 most viewed.
Yeah. When CM Punk music hit at the Royal Rumble this year, everyone popped. Everyone popped. When CM Punk and Cody Rhodes became the final 2 in the Rumble, everyone was popping. When he hit the GTS on Cody Rhodes, everyone was popping. And guess what? That wasn't in Chicago. That was in Tampa.
Okay. All right. I'm not. I don't think people are disagreeing. And at the time, Punk's run was the longest until up before Hogan. Hogan was 469, which we're talking about the run, which I think was 1990, maybe 80. One of the runs he had. It wasn't the first run.
I think it's 1888.
Yeah, it was one of the runs. I think it was maybe after WrestleMania 5, maybe one of those. But the point is that Punk doesn't. There's no question that Punk drew a lot of things. But you say Cena's final opponent should be Punk. But I'll ask 100%. You this though: will Punk be able to be medically able to wrestle in that? Because The Rock, right? We talked about The Rock tonight, right? In the match he put on. But Punk, since the last time he was in a WWE, wrestled a dozen matches. And let's not even bring up the UFC run.
I'll be
James
the one
Taylor's
to
had
admit
more
it.
matches in the last decade by a long shot. I mean, James Taylor, people could think what they want about James, but James has wrestled a lot more than CM Punk has. I mean, maybe CM Punk on Sportswire should be spoken more about in that way rather than James Taylor. Because CM Punk, when is he going to have a match again? How many matches has he had the last decade?
But also, James, if you take this as a shot, take it how you are. Take it how you will.
No, I'm giving a compliment to James. I'm talking about CM Punk because CM Punk.
I know.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. Did James Taylor win a world title?
he has won many world titles in his career.
No, I mean since his comeback.
We don't know that yet. We don't know.
Has he won a world title since he came back?
We don't know. And Soldier GP, thank you for reminding me because he is also a co-owner of the PWF like me. And James Taylor is an active roster member. So we don't know if he could still be a champion again.
Hey, look.
And shout out, by the way, to our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, fellow Hall of Famer, Mr. 100 himself, Mr. Dirty Donnie. He's also in our Hall of Fame, our newest member.
Congrats, buddy.
Yeah, we should definitely give him a congrats. I love Dirty. But Randy Orton should be seen as final opponent. Wouldn't that make most sense? Think about it. Didn't they have the longest history?
Okay. So
they're a part of the 4 that came up from OVW.
I'll say this.
Lesnar, Orton, Batista, Cena, right there, the 4.
Punk, Randy, or Triple H. Those are my 3 picks.
Triple H you're not getting.
But I'm just saying, those would be my 3 picks. Because no offense, this is how I put it. If they do what they did to Kurt, where his final match was against Baron Corbin, don't get me wrong, Baron Corbin's talented, but he wasn't at that level to be Kurt Angle's last match. But when I brought up
Kevin Owens as Stone Cold's final opponent, you were okay with that, though. I love Kevin Owens.
Well,
Kevin Owens be the final opponent?
But Kevin Owens has more talent than Baron Corbin.
No denying that, but is Kevin Owens on that level of, let's say, a generational Mount Rushmore? No.
Yeah. To me, yes.
I would say no, though.
Okay, let me do something for the first time.
Okay.
Why do you say that?
Why do I say that? Because when you think about all-time draws, right, all-time talents that transcend generations, okay. Kevin Owens is not on the same platitude as a Randy Orton. He's not on the same platitude. Adam Copeland, a.k.a. Edge, would be in the discussion with John Cena. Also talk about names. You mentioned Roman Reigns. You mentioned, Cody Rhodes now. Seth Rollins even. Is Kevin Owens on levels of those type of talents in the past 20 years? Batista, right? Throw Batista in there if you go on the list of names that have been a world champion or been a top draw in WWE, is Kevin Owens on the same levels? I love Kevin Owens. And I love Kevin Owens. I love what he does in the ring. I just don't know if he's on that Mount Rushmore level.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you my response. First of all, I'm gonna respond 10 seconds to one comment. Hillbilly Tilly, I 100% agree with you. 100% agree.
I love Hillbilly Tilly. But by the way, I want to bring up Hillbilly Tilly's quote once again because Hillbilly Tilly is coming on before the end of the month. He said it best when he had his last match. True wrestlers do it for the love of this sport. Anthony Steele does it for the love of the sport. Dirty Donnie does it for the love of the sport. Hillbilly Tilly does it for the love of the sport. Yes, James Taylor does it definitely for the love of the sport. And of course, Soldier GP does it for the love of the sport. So I just wanted to put that out there. Big shout out to Hillbilly Tilly. By the way, he's got a new YouTube channel where he's visiting cemeteries. And I was telling him on the air, off the air in his YouTube channel, that I actually live right across the street from a cemetery, which is why I could do those loud introductions every time on Sportswire because no neighbors really can say anything because they're dead. So, but big shout out to Hillbilly Tilly. I told you I'm working on stand-up comedy, but you can continue now.
All right. My opinion on Kevin Owens.
Give me the opinion. I want to hear it.
I'm going to name rivalries that I thought were great, that he worked great in.
Sami Zayn.
Number one, Sami Zayn.
Okay, okay. Be great. Yep.
Seth Rollins.
Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. Chris Jericho.
I have to put that one in. That's
Chris
absolutely.
Jericho. All right. Then we go into AJ Styles. They had
Yeah,
a good feud. They did have a good feud.
yeah,
Um, let's see. Even in his NXT days, man. NXT days. Finn
yeah.
Balor and him had a great feud going on. Um, let's see some of the newer stuff. The whole bloodline feud with him works so well.
You could put the Usos in there if you want to
The
go bloodline.
Usos.
Put the bloodline.
Um, you know, he's faced big names that have
Would you
been world
say?
champion.
And Angela Pink, by the way, loved my graveyard comment, which she thought was hilarious. I told you the stand-up comedy is good because, again, my neighbors are dead people, so they can't really say turn the music down. They can't say turn the intros down. They can't say turn the volume down because they're dead. But by the way, that'll be my resting spot. So when 50 years from now, that'll be my resting spot. But different conversation for a different time. But again, not taking anything away from his career. But still, compared to Randy Orton, compared to Batista, compared to Triple H, compared to other names that could be that final opponent for Stone Cold, whoever you might want it to be,
Okay,
should be Kevin Owens.
here we go. Let me argue this factor.
Go for it.
So when Batista, Randy Orton, John Cena, and Brock Lesnar came in, 2002, correct?
That was the basically the
The
women
OVW call up.
horsemen, the OVW horsemen, you want to call it.
Okay.
Yeah,
And they have had how many years in this business? Randy Orton's going on what, 22?
22. Cena, you could
Same as
shave up a couple years off.
yeah. So I say about 20-year career.
Batista
I say
12,
about 13,
12.
14.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
he missed a lot of time. He had 3
And
stints.
then so then you look at that, and you look at all those accomplishments that they had. Then you look at Kevin Owens, or as Sol just said, which I will bring this up, Kevin Steen,
Ring of Honor, absolutely.
Ring of Honor. What did he
And
do
by the
for Ring
way,
of Honor?
Mark Briscoe won the Ring of Honor championship. How
100%.
about that?
On the exact, I think it was what
On the day that Jay Briscoe won
his world title.
Yeah, how about that? That was well done.
Kevin Steen was in wrestling around the same time that they debuted
Yes, Jim
in
Cornette talked
WWE.
about that on his podcast. Yes,
Okay,
correct.
so the way I look at it is this: just because you're not on a big platform like WWE doesn't mean you don't have a historic career. Because
But I'm not saying that he didn't have a historic career. I'm just saying, would you put him in the stratosphere? There's a difference of being
yes,
stratosphere versus being really great. I mean, I'm just
all right.
saying.
Well, here, this is what's going to give us our answer tomorrow night.
Okay, good deal. All right, good deal.
He's facing Randy Orton and Logan Paul. He's facing a newcomer that he faced at the Royal Rumble, had a great match with, and he's facing a 22-year vet.
Which the
ending Randy
was.
Orton.
The ending was. Remember the finish?
Yeah.
Sucked. It sucked. We could say that on Sportswire. I can say that sucked. Sucked.
Like tomorrow, I will say this. Tomorrow
Tomorrow
we'll
is make
see
or
what
break
it's
for
like.
the show. Listen, tomorrow is make or break for the show. I'm gonna be
100%.
honest. I said it, I think, before you came on, and James Taylor, who knows, maybe his Wi-Fi was cut. Maybe somebody cut his internet because they didn't want to hear him. But I do feel that tonight, too, is predicated on whether this WrestleMania 40 was a success. Because think about it, right? You got Bayley and Io Sky. By the way, the internet, by the way, on Twitter is just going, bananas over Bayley's photo in her dress. Different conversation for a different time. But is Cody going to finish the story? You got Seth and Drew. What happens there? You mentioned Logan Paul, Owens, and Orton. I mean, to me, the success of WrestleMania 40 is now predicated on night 2 because not to say that night 1 fell flat, but the crowd was dull. I don't know if some of the matches lived up to maybe either the hype. Again, the hype was just out of the stratosphere for this show. There's no question about that. But to me, the success of this show is predicated based on what happens at night 2 and how well it goes off. And also, let me get a bunch of comments in here. And also, Steen versus El Generico. Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, Jay versus Jimmy sucked. We were talking about that. Jack Delta said the same thing. Huge fan of the Briscoes. Absolutely. I think we're going on what? We're over a year now since Jay died, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Mhm.
Kevin was the heel that Austin needed for that match. I agree with that. I'm just saying, if that's Stone Cold's last match, do you want it to be Kevin Owens? Could you do Stone Cold and The Rock one more time? If Stone Cold comes
Yeah.
out tomorrow, I'm just saying, if Stone Cold comes out tomorrow, and again, I'm fine with it either way, but if Stone Cold comes out tomorrow and helps Cody in this Bloodline Rules match, does that mean we're getting The Rock and Stone Cold one more time?
Potentially.
And would you want to see that based on their age
100%.
and what their abilities?
100%.
What kind of match would you get out of that then? It's not going to be like you and James Taylor in Resurrection and TBW because they're much more older.
If I'm gonna put them in a match, do a straight up wrestling match. Because no offense, I'm gonna say this.
Austin's not a straight up wrestler though. He hasn't been a straight up wrestler since Owen Hart broke his neck.
He's still the same Steve Austin to me.
It's gonna be a punch, kick, and brawl.
It's a brawl. That's what a match should be.
I agree about that, but it's not.
And look at it as this. He faced The Rock after his neck was broken, right?
He faced
At
him
Mania.
3 times. Yeah,
At Mania.
He faced him 3 times.
And those matches are still to this day referenced as one of 3 of the greatest matches of all time in WrestleMania history.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think they can recreate it.
Even at the age of Austin and the limited ring ability of The Rock.
With what Austin did at WrestleMania 38, taking those bumps like he did with Kevin Owens, I 100% say, and with what Rock showed tonight on how he can work, he can sell, and how he can literally put over talent still while still putting over himself, I think it could be a banger. Straight up.
Could you say that The Rock was able to do those things because he was in a tag team match?
Yes and no.
Okay, tell me.
Because because a lot of the stuff was, if you remember, for about 5 or 10 minutes of that match, they both went their separate ways. Roman and Cody were on the ramp in the stage. Seth and Rock were in the crowd.
Yes, they were in the outside.
They went. Which, side note, still one of the funniest moments of WrestleMania when the Rock looked at the ref and said, "You start counting, you're fired."
I did. Yeah, I was to bring that up.
Dude, I started laughing.
Soldier, does that mean we do that in PWF shows when we restart the company? Does that mean that Soldier comes out or Omen comes out and says that?
Oh, I'm gonna say it live on air. I'm like, you start counting, you're fired.
Well, are you opining to be on the PWF active roster?
Hey, look, I'll be on the active roster and I'll bite Dalton Skull's fucking other half.
Oh,
that
you
way
heard
I can be
Dalton Skull thing, huh? You heard about it.
The way I look at it, I got the match card for night 2.
Okay, give me the night 2 card as we finish the night. 15 minutes left from the show. God,
we got the Pride versus the Final Testament. We got the Street Profits of Bobby Lashley versus the Authors of Pain and Karrion Kross. And I'm gonna give my picks too.
Give me your picks, and I'll give you my picks. You do yours. I'll give you mine. All right. How about that?
I got Street Profits and Bobby Lashley going over.
I got the others.
You got the Final Testament?
Yeah. I think Karrion Kross needs a win. You
got LA Knight versus AJ Styles.
I can't see AJ Styles winning this match, man.
I got LA Knight going over 100%.
And so does that mean I can make matches? Well, I thought that was what Omen said on the air on Thursday, that we were supposed to make matches, but that's what I thought. But yeah, I guess I don't see why we can't. But yeah, I got LA Knight winning. I don't see how AJ Styles can walk away tomorrow with a win. I don't see any way that's possible.
You got Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton.
Ooh, part of me says Logan Paul's going to win tomorrow.
Okay. So I'm gonna do it how I did it tonight with the main event. Who do I want to win? Randy. Who do I know is going to win? Logan.
That's why I think that Logan Paul wins tomorrow. Because I think, or today now, depending on where you are, but it is today actually. But I think Logan Paul's going to win.
100%.
I don't see how Randy and KO need a title, a U.S. title.
Io Sky versus Bailey. I got Bailey.
I got Bailey all the way.
100%.
Side note: I'm a big fan of Bailey. Actually,
I fucking love Bailey. I want her at Mania to bring back her old theme music, so that way we can have the fucking what do they fucking call them?
with the Bailey buddies, was it the Bailey?
Yeah,
buddies?
the Bailey buddies. The Bailey buddies.
I don't think she's coming out to be a hugger again, though. I don't think she's.
I'll do just for one night.
Although
just
Twitter,
for one night.
although Twitter liked the dress that was hugging her, fill in the blanks back of her, though, because she was wearing a dress at the Hall of Fame. But Twitter was basically having, let's just say, a volcanic eruption off her. But yeah, I don't see, after what Bailey said on basically the build up for this, I don't see how Bailey doesn't win to today. I just don't see it. And Saul just says, "Can we make the match happen between him and Taylor?" I thought you said that on Thursday's show that we were getting you and James Taylor, but James Taylor left the show tonight, so we don't know what James Taylor thinks. I have no idea, but yeah, I want to see it. And the world wants to see it. Okay, so you got Bailey over Io Sky, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre.
Again, who do I want to win? Seth. Who's going to win? Drew.
But who cashes in? Maybe.
Neither. He don't.
No, you can't be neither. Damian Priest.
He don't.
Why not? Doesn't he have to at some point?
I don't see them trying to recreate the heist of the century on Mania on Seth.
But bad night other than Rhea. Wouldn't this be a way to make up for it?
The only way I could see fit is to give Seth a little bit more time off. To fully recover. 100%.
His wife is sick now, obviously. I'm sure that counts for something, and she's doing a book tour.
If they're going to do that, here's my prediction for that. If they're going to do that, have Drew win, and then Damian cash in on Drew, beat Drew, win the world title at Mania.
Jack Delta, side note, Jack Delta had mentioned on his Instagram that he thought that it's possible Damian Priest could cash in on Cody Rhodes before we get to that match. Do you think that's a viable point?
No.
Why not? Because storyline purposes, it continues the story for Cody. Because the point, couldn't you say that if Cody wins, he's no longer chasing anything? This gives him the opportunity to still chase a story.
Because there's no reason to. If you look at a storyline basis, where does the storyline lie?
Cody continues
the story. He wins at Mania. Damian's been going after Seth Rollins in the World Heavyweight Championship for months now. And and this is why I say Drew wins, Damian cashes in on Drew. Who's been the most valuable person to stop Damian Priest's cash-ins in the past couple months?
Drew McIntyre.
Exactly.
And that's what Soldier GP says. He thinks that Drew wins and Damian cashes in. Hillbilly Tilly wants to say, if LA Knight doesn't put out an amazing match with AJ, then it'll be a make or break or whether he deserves to be a main eventer, which is why
LA Knight is he's gonna put on one of the most.
But he needs a win tomorrow, though. But he's not wrong. He needs a win.
He needs.
LA Knight needs a win to be a main event player. That's
100%.
a valid point. AJ Styles wins, it totally devalues LA Knight. He goes into Ryback territory where he cannot not be believable.
Yeah, I think at this point, what they should do, or what is going to happen, is AJ's going to do what Shane McMahon did to him at WrestleMania 32. Not 32. WrestleMania
5, was it 35, 36?
34,
right? 34, right? I'm trying to think. What Mania? I'm trying to think. 34, 35.
33. WrestleMania 33. Okay. In Orlando. AJ is going to give a match of a lifetime with LA Knight, and LA Knight's going to pick up the victory, and he's going to show him respect.
Well, you have to wonder, AJ Styles, how much longer is he in the main event picture or in the round it?
See, AJ's been out of the main event picture for so long. I don't see them putting him back in the main event picture. I think the reason why he was added into that Fatal 4-Way at the Royal Rumble was to put in, the feud for LA Knight versus
LA
AJ
Knight needs a
Styles.
win. It's so obvious. He needs a win. He needs one.
Because at that point, LA Knight's been trying to go after the Universal Championship,
And he came up short.
and he came up short. And then they just added him to the world title match to make a point to give a factor on AJ coming after LA for basically costing him the match at Rumble and costing him a shot at being in the Elimination Chamber to get a shot at Seth. It's all about greed. They're doing what I call the greed storyline, where if
And
I
no, we're not
can't have
talking
it,
about WCW
yeah,
Greed pay-per-view.
yeah, we're not talking about XCW greed.
Oh, well, maybe you might be on that show one of these days. No
but
comment. Let's move on.
I call it the greed storyline because AJ's pulling the card. If I can't have it, you can't have it. And LA Knight has been a top rising star. Put on what I think is one of the best matches in Roman Reigns' title run to date in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, LA Knight did a great job, and he had Bray Wyatt's last match. I mean, there's a lot of things that LA Knight had to offer that he kind of needs the moment. I mean, this is his chance to show his ability to be put in a main event caliber match, and AJ's the guy to put him over. I agree. It's painfully obvious. AJ's the veteran on the back end of his career, and he's the guy to put LA Knight over to be solidified as a top guy that could legitimately win a world title whenever that situation arises. I mean, that's the moment. I mean, and then I have to ask you about the main event then. Who do you formally think wins?
Cody.
Not Roman? You don't think Roman has any possibility to win?
Cody is finishing the story.
Could you make a point, though, that Roman could still keep the title because business is booming? If it ain't broke, don't fix it?
All right. If you want from a business standpoint, Roman has been looking for a way out to take time off. He wants time off.
But they say that, but is it true? Because he's still held on for as long as he's held on.
That's because at that point, they didn't think LA Knight was ready, so they didn't want to put the strap on him. They didn't want to instantly put the strap back on Randy when he came back. And
yeah, I don't know if Randy's ever getting the belt back again, to be honest.
I think he's going to have one more title run. I think he's going to have one more title run to make it 15 title runs, be one less than Ric Flair and John Cena, just so that he can be in the talks of a potential like John Cena was for the longest time. John Cena going to be able to do it?
There's an alternate answer to that, by the way. Ric Flair's daughter is going to break the record.
Charlotte sucks. That's my opinion.
But she's going to break the record. It's not going to be Cena or Orton. It's going to be Charlotte Flair. Because she's already got 14 reigns, I believe. She's a 14-time champion, if I'm not mistaken. She's going to break the record.
Not if mommy has something to say about it.
But that could also be she could take Bayley's championship.
Makes no sense.
I understand. I'm just saying, though. But yeah.
I mean, it's WWE. Anything can happen.
Still, they'll make the case Roman could retain tomorrow.
Okay.
And Hillbilly Tilly's right. If Roman holds it till SummerSlam, he breaks Hogan's reign. And Hogan's reign is number 3.
But that's the thing.
74 days.
That's the thing, though. One, we all know ain't nobody gonna break Bruno Sammartino's record. That is sitting at the highest pillar of the WWE.
I don't think wrestling fans today would have a palate for that. That I don't think would have a palate for.
And you hear about it so much. Now that Triple H is actually running WWE with The Rock.
Right.
They're actually listening. They're actually listening to the fans for once. We are getting the Triple H that was talked about in 2014 during the Authority era. 2013,
But
late
if
2013,
but
late.
if business is up, remember, but business is the way it is right now, and
But the way I look at it is Triple H said on an episode of Raw, it was Triple H, Vince McMahon, Stephanie, and Shane.
who Stephanie was spotted on TV for the first time. If you were watching
Yeah,
the first
with
time,
an ECW hat on.
it was interesting. It was very
Oh
interesting.
yeah.
I didn't know she could be mentioned. I didn't know she could be mentioned.
um, they want it. They hear the crowd. They hear the fans.
Well, The Rock, did you see what The Rock said? He admitted that originally the plans would be different at WrestleMania. It's supposed to be him and Roman, and they changed the plan.
Exactly. Because why? What do the
Because
fans
James
want?
Taylor is going to wrestle Soldier GP and PWF. Good one. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
I tried.
They're finally listening to the fans, and the fans have been saying for a while that the Roman as champion is getting old.
I don't think and you know what? To be fair, look, they just should part-timers. I had a conversation with a British promoter today on WhatsApp about this. I don't think that part-timers should be world champions anymore. I think the champion should be front and center. I don't think somebody should be a champion that's not on TV. I just think to me it devalues the championship and the company.
I'm going to give 3 valid reasons why I think Roman is going to lose at Mania.
Okay.
Night 2, and why it should happen. Okay. Point number 1. When Brock Lesnar, as we call it, had the Brock Lesnar schedule where he appeared when he wanted, how he wanted, against who he wanted.
Right.
Roman looked at Brock and said, and I quote, "I will never work your schedule because I'd rather be hated full-time than be hated part-time and still try to think I have a ground to walk and talk on." That's number 1. Number 2, the fans are seeing that the Roman feud with everybody has, is overplayed. At this point, he's beaten almost every top challenger that he could ever think of with that championship.
Yeah.
Going as far as unifying it in the main event of WrestleMania 38 Night 2.
Correct.
Against Brock Lesnar.
Technically, with the exception of Seth Rollins, by the way.
Yeah.
Technically, Seth Rollins actually didn't lose to Roman Reigns a few years back, but the point stands.
Royal Rumble. Yep.
Yeah.
And number 3, the biggest of them all.
Right.
We're not in the 80s no more. We're not in the early 90s. There's multiple people that is capable of being champion. Back then, there wasn't really, unless you wanted to pass the strap between like.
But couldn't you have said a year or two ago that there wasn't though?
I could say there was. All right.
Who?
So, Finn Balor. As much as a lot of people, I think Finn Balor needs to leave Judgment Day. I think
Judgment Day could be vulnerable after today. Really, I mean, I think based on their record tonight.
Finn Balor, when he did the Demon King at Extreme Rules against Roman Reigns, was again one of the best matches in the feud with Roman Reigns as Universal Champion. He could have been the guy to beat him. Then you had Daniel Bryan and Edge, 2 men that could have sat there.
And he stacked them both. That was an amazing moment. He stacked both those guys, and I think Daniel Bryan maybe wrestled one more time against Roman Reigns, and he never wrestled again in WWE. So that's a pretty big deal there.
Cesaro, a phenomenal talent. And literally lift anybody, work with anybody, and do a lot of things that a man of his size and caliber really shouldn't have been able to do.
Beat Cena at SummerSlam. He beat Jey Uso. Kevin Owens, we spoke about. Sami Zayn. Brock Lesnar, you mentioned. Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns had a victory over. Big E, right? Big E, he beat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. Listen, the reign's historic, to quote. But you think for sure though, Cody's gonna get it. You want to make that clear?
Cody Cody is going to be the first Rhodes to win the big one. He's going to do it at the grandest stage of them all, and he's going to do it in honor of his dad. He's going to finish the story that his dad started in Madison Square Garden.
But we're
The
not at
night that
Madison Square
Dexter,
Garden.
I mean, yeah, but you don't have to be in the exact place. You just have to be in the exact
And also, you know that
frame.
Dusty's title runs lasted a grand total of in the NWA 105 days.
Hey, well, that's 105 days that Cody's going to take that title, run with it, and go farther than that.
We'll
Because
see. I don't know if that to be, some guys don't keep the titles that, some guys aren't long-term champions. I mean, let me get to Hellbilly Tilly before we get to a few final thoughts here. Roman holds it. Yep, I got that. No one will break Bruno's. Hogan's record is the only one that is actually breakable, and it's within reach. But he says Cody wins with interference. Someone unexpected is my prediction.
all right, Hillbilly, you weren't here earlier, so I'm gonna say my prediction again. Rock screws Roman. Rock screws Roman, costs Roman the title. Roman takes time off. Cody, Rock, Saudi. Roman comes back, costs the Rock the match. Rock Roman, SummerSlam.
Now, I just want to say a side point to be kind of usually going to be funny. If we do have this Soldier Taylor match, I want to say that Soldier wins because Steel screws Taylor, so we can get Steel and Taylor one more time in BWF.
Soldier, my DM's open.
Soldier versus Taylor. So I just want to make this clear, Soldier. Since we are sort of partial owners in this thing, I'm going with, if you want the match with Taylor, I want to see you win, but I want to see Anthony the Real Deal Steele screw James Taylor over so we can get Anthony Steele and James Taylor one more time in the PWF.
Anything's possible in the land of sports entertainment.
What do you want to say as your closing thoughts here?
Closing thoughts is
Closing thoughts.
night one wasn't bad, wasn't the greatest. Had some memorable moments. Had
Seven.
some
What would you rate it? 7 out of 10? 6.5? 6? James Taylor did not think that high of it, by the way. He was like,
I'd give it a 7. Because
I'm in the 6.5 range, but yeah, okay.
with the Rhea and Becky match, with the Gunther Sammy, Cody Seth Rock Roman, the ladder match had some memorable spots.
Ladder match was fun. I was into that. Don't think I cared that much for the LWO though. I don't think I cared much for it.
Hey, I'll say this: Jason Kelsey. Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, I mean that's the one.
My take.
If you're going from what you say, yeah, that's okay. I did like the IC match though. I did like it.
Oh, I fucking loved it.
I did like it. I know it was a Delta that didn't care much for it. I liked the main event. I was good with the main event. I was just asking your thoughts on it. I think the match I didn't care much for was the women's 6-woman tag. I just didn't care at all for that. Didn't do nothing for me.
I'll say 2 words to describe the Gunther and Sami Zayn match: comeback story.
Or comeback kid, yeah, but okay, good enough.
Comeback story, because they told a story. His wife and his kids sitting front row.
No, listen. I think that was a good match. I was into the opener. I love the ladder match. I probably didn't care for the middle. Uso versus Uso was disappointing. I think the 6-woman was disappointing. LWO, okay, Kelsey moment, fine. But to me, the middle of the show wasn't very good. Wasn't very good. Opening, the ending was pretty good. The first 2 and the last 2 I was with. The middle 3 didn't care for. Are we seeing you tomorrow with Xavier Thorne, by the way? Do you have history with Xavier Thorne that I know of or should know
never
of?
Never say never.
And that's exactly what Soldier GP said. So I guess we may. Although I thought the Nemesis Sessions was going live. Well, that depends on Xavier Thorne. So James actually did say it depends on Xavier Thorne. I want to see Xavier Thorne on Sportswire, though. I want him here. I want to hear him.
I have one last thing to say about the Jimmy J match,
Go for it.
and
Go
then
for it.
and then that's gonna be my closing thought.
Go for it. And how great was Stand and Deliver,
Where
by the way? Did you like Stand and Deliver?
Stand and Deliver was fire, fire. I honestly cannot say there was a match on that card that other than the kickoff match, because that kind of under delivered. Um,
I like the
but
word.
the main card, great, phenomenal. Trick Williams versus Carmelo Hayes, match of the night.
Yeah, I
Match
heard
of
about
the
that. Yeah,
night.
I heard about that.
But my closing thoughts for the Jimmy and Jay match, where they messed up, two things: super kick party,
You said that, yeah.
and where Jay looked as Jimmy was pleading with him, Jay showed remorse. You build the storyline where Jay had no remorse for Jimmy. He was
But
on
that built
Jimmy's
up the
ass.
comeback, though.
But see, that's the thing though, is you build a storyline. You can't build a storyline where you have two individuals constantly going at each other, building this grand feud, leading into the grandest stage of them all, and then show remorse on the grandest stage of them all.
The North American title match he enjoyed, and so did the tag team
Oh yeah.
match from Soldier.
Oh, 100. If you're talking about NXT Stand and Deliver,
Yes.
Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker versus Nathan Frazier and Axiom, fantastic match. You talking about Obi fucking whatever his name is, Josh Briggs, and as I don't call him Dijak, Dominic Dijakovic, fucking outstanding match, great spots. You had Laya Valkyrie versus Roxanne Perez.
Yep.
Dude told a story like a motherfucker in there. You had Thea Hale, Fallon Henley, and I fucking can't remember the other girl's name. Versus JC Jane and two nobodies, basically. But told a story. You had Ilya Dragunov versus Tony D'Angelo. Told a story, man.
That was the one match I had to say that was the one I was kind of like under the radar, really excited for. And I agree with Soldier. That was definitely Carmelo's swan song in NXT because we're going to see him on the main roster. Definitely, I couldn't agree with you.
And the Trick Williams. All right, here's my closing thoughts. Trick Williams versus Carmelo Hayes. That match, 100%. Needs to set up. Trick Williams beats Ilya Dragunov finally 1-on-1 and wins the NXT World Championship. That's what I got to say.
Well, you might get it. And our friend Angela Pink was saying you spoke a lot of cursing tonight, but she actually liked it because she certainly does a lot of swearing in her life, in her day jobs, whereas I am obviously try to be as straight laced as possible, Anthony Steele. So she appreciated the cursing, and whereas I really very rarely do that, but that's okay. But people liked it. 46 people watching us right now, by the way. So even at 1:50 in the morning, people seem to want to hear you. Maybe it was 46 different burner accounts of people that you've said things about on Sportswire that wanted to hear.
If it works, it works.
Well, it seems to work. I mean, but maybe we'll see you tomorrow. I think Xavier Thorne's he's gonna deliver tomorrow. Speaking of stand and deliver, he's gonna deliver tomorrow, Xavier Thorne. I cannot wait to what he has to say. I just cannot.
Hold on, I just got one question.
Mm-hmm.
Is he gonna deliver what gimmick he's gonna steal next?
You'll have to find out and tune in and maybe see him personally.
Because I'll say this: ain't nobody stealing no gimmicks over here. Because you're looking at the real deal, and if you ain't the real deal, you ain't Anthony fucking
that's
Steele.
why nobody can steal those lights from you. Nobody can steal the microphone for you. Like I said, I can retire from Sportswire. I'm going to give you the mantle. I'm going to pass the baton to you because you obviously got a better microphone than me. You got better lights than me. You got obviously a better wrestling shirt on because I got a James Taylor shirt and I need to change shirts.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm going to be getting yours. I still have to get it because I have a shirt tomorrow that I'm going to open up on the air. You're going to probably say something about. I have a feeling you're going to be here just to see this package, and then you're going to say something about that, and it's going to be. Yeah, I promise you, I might actually have to really pull up or shut up on this shirt. But
hey, look. All right, so this is what's her name? The girl that's been commenting.
Angela Pink. Angela Pink is up.
Hey,
Yes.
Angela Pink, if you ever want to chat, my DMs are open. I'm
Well,
professional, man. Professional. If you like what you're seeing, tune in to Sportswire. I'm on here a lot. Shout out to my boy, the Reverend Tom Bryce, for putting on Sportswire every single week,
literally, and
producing
every
great
day.
product
But Jack Delta.
every day.
Jack Delta even said, he actually said, when do you take a break? And I'm like, when I'm dead. I mean, literally, I'm on every day at this point. I mean, I literally like make my days available around sports, which is kind of sad, right? Because like, I really work my days around when I can be on Sportswire, which really is a bad thing to say. But and Angela was laughing, by the way. She was, like I said, she's probably more entertained than being with me on the air, because like I said, I hold a candle to what you do on the air. But James Taylor left Soldier because he had some technical difficulties. It wasn't because he couldn't be on Sportswire. It was a matter of the
No,
fact that he had some technical difficulties.
it's because he knew when Anthony Steele graced his screen, he couldn't live up to the hype.
Or it wasn't because he's an active member of the PWF roster and he really doesn't want to wrestle Soldier. It's actually because he really got technical difficulties. He actually wants to be in the PWF. He wants to be back in the ring, but he just doesn't know yet where he's going to be in the ring with. I mean, so that's we love James on sports. But by the way, I got my announcement. I forgot to do my announcement. April 25th, live, James Taylor 40th birthday party. You available? Anybody? Soldier, you
I'm available.
Soldier, you should be here on April 25th so you could greet Mr. Taylor, wish him happy birthday, and maybe talk about his plans in the PWF and maybe address his future there, and maybe talk about when he's going to wrestle in the ring, and maybe lobby him in that way. And that way Mr. Steele and can watch this live, and many other people watching live, because nearly 50 of us are live on Sportswire tuning in for these reasons, and we can certainly celebrate Mr. Taylor in his existence because he's turning the big 4-0. And, I'm sure many friends of Mr. Taylor's would like to be here. I'm sure Mr. Black would like to be here. Omen Black, that is, not Mason Black. But, I'm sure, people like Anthony Steele. Omen Black, I said Omen Black. Let me make sure it's Omen Black.
Omen Black instead of who? Exactly.
Soldier said he's going to be there for the 40th birthday party, but to tell him his first match back.
Hey, side note, Soldier. Let me see let's do a countdown real quick.
Okay.
You
got invite Xavier Thorne to the 40th birthday bash?
1, 2, 3. You got about 5 weeks, buddy. 5 weeks. You don't need to be worrying about James Taylor because in 5 weeks.
Actually, you reminded me of something before we go off the. I actually have one more thing I want to bring up because Soldier's here, you're here, and a lot of other people are here. You should mark your calendar actually, because on May 24th, 10 p.m. Eastern time, to kick off Memorial Day weekend on Sportswire Radio, we're having a live competitive eating contest on the air. And it's actually involving a former TVW Resurrection talent in Alan Michaels. He's actually going to be competing in a live eating contest. And, since you're a broadcaster now, Anthony Steele, and obviously Soldier GP owns a portion of the PWF, and people like Angela Pink are tuning in, 40 plus other people are tuning in. You should mark your calendar and keep that open because we're going to have a live eating contest on the air.
What are they eating?
Originally, they wanted tacos, but we basically came so far under the agreement it should be hamburgers. Crystal's Hamburgers apparently is what they want.
How many are they going to eat?
It's a pack is 20, they say.
Let me in on this competition. I'll beat all y'all. Don't play with
me. Wait. Time out now. Are you saying you're a competitive eater?
I'm saying I can put down some food. That's what I'm saying.
But these guys, and this guy Big T was in there, by the way. Big T. This guy Big T's got a big tattoo on his shoulder. Really big guy. He's saying that he can eat like 40 hamburgers, 50 hamburgers.
First of all, Crystal's hamburgers are like half the size of my palm. All right.
So, Angela said there are many hamburgers. She happens to know what they look like. I didn't know what they look like.
Okay. So, do you know what Crystal's is?
They explained it on the air last week, so yeah, kind of.
So
It's kind of like White Castle.
it's literally White Castle.
That's what they told us on the air. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
literally White Castle. So if you ever been to
I've
White
offered,
Castle,
and
you've been to
actually,
a Crystals.
I've actually offered to pay for the meal, so that way they don't have to go out of pocket. Because I figure that I'll actually pay for the burgers personally.
I'll buy them my goddamn self to enter this
No, no,
competition.
no, no, no. Stay there. Stay there. Are you sure you want to enter this though? I mean, you have a ring career to worry about. You have a ring career.
Look.
Yeah, potential
All it is working off some calories, man. All it is working
The
off some
missus may
calories.
not want you to be a part of this though.
The missus will understand, and she'll look at you dead to your face and
She
be
knows
like,
the missus. Do you think the missus doesn't know me? You've been on how many times on Sportswire? She's been in the background. How many
"Yeah,
times? The opponents she may not know, but the
yeah."
missus knows who I am.
She'll look at you and she'll dead straight tell you. She'll be like, Anthony can put down some food. Anthony, especially if we're talking about a 20 pack of sliders.
Yeah.
Dude, okay. So let's talk about it. So for Super Bowl, I went and got White Castle sliders, and I put down. I think it was like
60, 70,
no.
30,
I
100.
think we got like 15.
And you ate them in what, 10 minutes?
Oh, dude, I went through like 5, maybe in like a minute or two, if that.
All right, so are you really saying here live that you want to be in this contest? You
Dude,
really
I will go all day without eating just to bring that into my house. Go live on air and smash these burgers.
I'll tell you what. I will tell the guys. I'm going to tell them back. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell them today on Instagram that they have a third participant in this contest. And I'll even go out there and say that if there's more people that want to enter, which I have no idea why, if I eat 1 hamburger or 2 hamburgers, and I'm sure people like Angela can attest to this, that's enough for me. But if you really want to enter in the contest, okay, God, it's America, right? We are in the United States of America. I can't deny you. After all, I've even said it's all eating matters now on Instagram. So if it's all eating matters, I have to actually let you in the contest. Just like the Silver Wolves coming back to Sportswire, I have to let you back on the Sportswire to let you eat burgers. So if you want to be in the contest, I'll let you win the contest. If that's what you want. Is that what you want?
Yes, sir.
But you know what? I'll have to let Mr. Michaels and Mr. Big T know that they've got a third participant that they're competing against on May 24th, 10 p.m. Eastern. And by the way, we're supposed to have a weigh-in beforehand. Now, are you comfortable with a weigh-in?
I can tell you how much I weigh right now. 265 pounds.
I don't want the weigh-in now. They're not here. I want the weigh-in a week beforehand.
Hey, I will give you a week beforehand. I will give you my weigh-in.
No, we're gonna do it on the air. I think we're gonna do a live weigh-in.
I will give you a weigh-in.
You comfortable with that, by the way? Is the missus
Dude,
okay with you doing that?
I got a scale right over there.
Oh, you do? Okay, well, you know what? I think, ladies and gentlemen, the stakes, figuratively and literally, got a lot higher because now we have a third participant in this first ever live eating contest. So, I'm sure the internet is going to break on Sportswire because now you're in an eating contest. So I can only imagine what some of your detractors are going to say now. I mean, it's going to be, oh my God. Will they have a shirt that says pull up or eat up now? Or will it be like spit up, spill? No, I got it. It could be, maybe it would be eat, put in or eat out or something like that. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a funny word here. I'm trying to think of a funny actual word.
No, it's eat out or get out.
Oh, eat out or get out. So this will be literally eat out or get out now. Okay, well, you know what? We'll have to have a new shirt, eat out or get out. Because Anthony Steele is now in his first ever eating contest against Big T and Alan Michaels. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've run the gauntlet. I don't have much of a voice. I'm going to see everybody at the end of WrestleMania Night 2. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. Shout out to Anthony Steele, who, by the way, could take over my role on Sportswire Radio, but we'll certainly see. He's doing that anyway. He's going to be in the first ever eating contest. But My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. If you're on SportsWireRadio.org, you're going back to your regular scheduled programming. I'll be here right after night 2 with none other than the standout, Xavier Thorne. It'll be a real one, so we think. But thank you, everybody, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, on the number one